OpenClaw example. So OpenClaw.
Next time I think I'm gonna spend more time um, working on OpenClaw. I didn't really think much about OpenClaw until I started using it. Now, at the end of the day, guys, look, there is a lot of complexity in OpenClaw, but at the end of the day, if you kind of organize those complexities, it just becomes easier to operate it. Now, if you are somebody who OpenClaw is very interesting, especially for instructor use case. So if you're into like teaching that kind of stuff, you could use OpenClaw to kind of prepare for your lessons. One of the ways to do that is to look at the topics in classroom and tell you exactly like what you're working on. The other things is obviously the transcript. So transcript easily could fit that in into OpenClaw and have it tell you exactly what to hyper focus on and keep track of certain scenarios. So I kind of found OpenClaw useful in terms of scenarios, use cases. Before it was kind of difficult to follow through all the use cases, but now I'm leveraging OpenClaw to do the following. Number one, prepare the lessons. Number two, prepare the slides. Number three, follow up with me right before the lesson and tell me if everything is ready. Number four, uh, grade students' quizzes automatically and not only automatically but prescriptively. So whenever they're taking exam, I simply jump in and I get everything from OpenClaw telling me like, oh, this student over here and set of like two out of five students constantly struggling on this the main area of the subject matter expertise. Immediately, I, I'm like, okay, so this OpenClaw use case is absolutely insane. Like I just did it today. I went ahead and I took it for a test run today. In a previous session, it was funny. We're talking about all sorts of use cases for OSI reference model, and I jumped in and I started, having a session. OpenClaw had everything ready: quiz, um, slides, labs, everything uploaded. Sheesh. Hold on a sec, guys. I didn't really know what to think of this until I started using OpenClaw. At first, I used Google Gemini to package everything with anti-gravity. Later, I decided to embark on something more advanced besides the Gemini and anti-gravity. I started interconnecting Minimax 2.5. I found it really useful in terms of just kind of getting stuff done on a longer time period, and not so useful if you wanted to get things done quickly. But needless to say, once you have everything in skills, it's sort of like smooth sailing anyway. You could use really cheap models. When I first encountered a serious OpenClaw use case, I immediately was like, man, like I knew it was a really good use case. I knew it because like I just created one small shortcut, like one small short video on TikTok, really short, just kind of showing what it does, and people add it to favorites. And typically when I create videos, nobody adds things to favorites, but this one got picked up right away. Somebody like edited the favorites and another person liked. So I kind of knew that it was a good workflow. I just didn't really like I didn't really see anybody pulling it off in university settings. And when I had tried it with this OpenClaw workflow, I realized it was game changer because it's kind of hard to see what exactly students are doing while you are teaching the class. It's kind of hard to collect all the data in real time. It's kind of hard to prepare lessons. It's kind of hard to see what you're even doing on the day when you're supposed to be teaching lessons. It's kind of hard to be creating the breakout rooms and Zoom sessions and inviting students into those breakout rooms. It's kind of hard to be creating syllabuses. It's kind of hard to be creating notebook LM slides. It's kind of hard to be creating entire batch of pre-test, post-test, post-follow-up, and before follow-up, preview of the previous lessons. It's kind of hard to be juggling all of that and just be like also teaching cybersecurity. In fact, I realized that it's practically impossible to do all that. So I needed a better solution, and that was the solution. The solution was OpenClaw with Google Classroom, a bunch of APIs that connect to Google Classroom. Makes it possible for me to access all of those quizzes, slides, look at the syllabus, see automatically what I'm teaching on that day, and letting me know right away. Like, by the way, there's a bunch of students who are taking the quiz. Two of them are struggling in presentation layer of a OSI reference model. Can you go ahead and reinforce this? And by the way, say this and that. And I looked at that. I'm like, man, that's kind of nuts. And I needed that, especially like in enterprise settings. I mean, in university settings, I do things in a way where I just kind of teach things, but I also cover what I do, like in a professional enterprise settings, to give students opportunity to earn like 500,000 per year, that kind of stuff. And this is something that's not described, those use cases. They're only described on university settings. You don't see them on YouTube or anything like this. So I wanted a way for like OpenClaw to be able to track all of those use cases and simultaneously combine whatever I do at my full-time job together with my students that are learning from me. So this way they could kind of like tap into my brain through OpenClaw. And what I was able to do is I managed to get OpenClaw to follow up with me throughout the session, review the previous transcripts, and tell me precisely like, oh, by the way, you talked about this use case that you were dealing with at your full-time job, but by the way, you haven't finished explaining it all the way in context of what you're presenting now on this topic for this day. Here's the speaker notes for you to include that, while also simultaneously getting students who asked specific questions about something encompassed in your response in a way that they feel inclusive, while also maximizing learning effectiveness and showing that effectiveness in terms of what they took on a pre-test and a post-test, and showing the differences while making it available for administrators to be able to replicate the whole thing, then the entire course and curriculum structure. So I was able to do that like fairly quick, guys, in 3 hours to build the whole thing. Now I'm using it with Zoom as well. So with Zoom, it was kind of borderline insane. Wow, 47 bucks. I I got to be like expensive. Okay. Well, let's see what kind of Uber Eats delivery we're getting. Okay, I think we're good. I think we're good. So yeah, going back to OpenCloud, guys. Yeah, I got this workflow going. So I mean, I'm probably gonna try to do it for my other class, because now that I could save so much time on that, I could teach more classes, make more money doing it this way. So it's gonna be no-brainer. But uh, hold on a sec, guys. Let's see what kind of Uber Eats delivery I got. I'm really not getting really good orders, guys. I mean, today I already made pretty good money. Like I recovered some money that I lost in stock from last week. Heck, even managed to win some from some of those short-term trading activities. Once in a while, when I see opportunity, I jump in. And granted, on a long-term scale, I'm still kind of um, obviously like going average, but like winning here and there, that kind of stuff. So a lot of people say, "Oh my God, open claw, open claw." Hold on a sec. All right, so check this out. The funny part is about open claw is that it becomes a lot more fun to use once you know how to make money.
and it becomes almost useless if you don't. And a lot of people they get they don't know the use cases. Now, you could figure those use cases out, but only if you're actually like struggling within the business and kind of seeing what manual tasks you wanted to overcome. So for my university work, clearly I needed to accelerate the preparation of the slides, of the quizzes, pre-test, post-test, post-follow-up, review. Plus, I wanted to have like a fully blown command center where when I start, instead of me reading from the slides, I wanted to have full immersive experience from the student's perspective in terms of which domain they're struggling with, and have OpenClaw reinforce that on the back through the bunch of heartbeats, reinforcing the lesson and reaching out. This may seem like a regular chatbot, but I can assure you that this is so much more than that. Why? Because now I just say, what am I teaching today? And it just knows what I'm teaching today. It looks at the Google Classroom. It uploads things. If let's say there's nothing found in the Google Classroom, it creates all the materials based on the syllabus that I created, and yeah, it just makes it available for for students. It tells me what to publish and when, and which part of the lesson, and what to say to the students, and what specifically to include in uh, slides as well, Google Notebook LM slides that encompasses students' understanding. Plus, specifically, it interfaces with Zoom and creates breakout rooms. So this way, I don't have to have that mental pressure of thinking what I need to say to students. So this way, they jump in and breakout rooms. This Those use cases may seem not most fascinating, but I can assure you that they are. Now, they are really fascinating when you start combining multiple classes across multiple curriculums. It becomes like, wow. But in whose hands does it become valuable? It becomes valuable in, like, if you're a teacher, instructor, or like a coach or professor or continuing education person, or like an adjunct professor, or somebody who's just like spawning money teaching people, then it becomes extremely valuable. What if you're not somebody who's just spawning money, but you wanted to spawn money and like teach other people and make money, but you don't really have a master's degree in mathematics, or like any of this? How can you possibly do that? This is this is one of those things, guys. That's the way to do it. Just gotta look deeper. Contact our talent agency. We'll show you how, and they
All right. So going back to what I was saying, uh, OpenClaw. Now, hopefully, guys, you are able to hear me talk, and if you do, that's great. If you do, that's great, because I did fix my microphone, or should I say, I started using it before I just wasn't using it. Now I guess I'm finally using it. It's easier without me having to use any dongle, maybe, yeah. But yeah, I think that's all I wanted to just car, guys. I don't have much to say other than, hey, begin using OpenClaw. See you next time.